So was this every day?
It was worse and worse and worse every single day. To the
Wow.
point where I didn't feel safe being on my own because I never acted on anything that she was telling me to do. But I was so close in my mind to being like, this is the only way I'm going to get her to stop.
Could you see her image?
Yeah, she did.
It was a whole character.
Yeah.
It was a whole that had a voice and a face and everything.
Eventually a name.
What is breaking point?
The morning that I woke up and everything changed was in the January. I say that was my breaking point. The lowest point was probably in May. So I pushed through for 5 months.
Did intervention change?
I was in the bathroom one morning. I just completely came out of my body, calling my mum and just being like, I don't know where I am. This house isn't mine. Like, I need you to come over, look at these children downstairs, and I need you to tell me that they are mine because I don't know where I am. And I just thought, but I'm not going to be able to fight this by myself, and I don't want to die. I don't want to commit suicide. I don't want to leave my family. I need to do something.
If you could speak to other women, whether it's women that are going through postnatal right now, is there anything you'd say to them in particular?
No shame in asking for help.
Hayley, welcome to the Girl Chat.
Thank you so much.
So nice to have you here. You're kind of like colour coordinated with the set, which I
try.
love.
It's almost like I planned it.
I know, it looks gorgeous. Such a nice outfit.
Thank you so much.
I'm really intrigued by today's conversation because you've got such a powerful story. And I'm going to use the word like special story because it is, but it's also like it's heartbreaking, it's traumatic. The end is, there's a lot of kind of meaningfulness to it. There's a lot of kind of, it's a really interesting journey.
Yeah.
From the outside, obviously, to have lived it must have been very, very different. But it's a new conversation that we're having as well. It's not one we've brought to the podcast before, which is what I love. So what I want to start with is just some like foundation work for those girls, women that haven't got any experience of the word we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about postnatal depression and postnatal psychosis.
Yeah.
So let's just, if we can, define what those two things are first so
Yeah.
people know.
100%. I think so postnatal depression, I think a lot of people know about it. A lot of people are aware of it. A lot of women go through it. It's super common on various levels. Like it's fair to say that I think it's like a spectrum, and you know, there are milder versions and there are more extreme versions. My version was, on the more extreme end. So do you want me to go into like symptoms and things like that?
Yeah, we can. Let's do a bit of symptoms because it is a step up, the psychosis from depression, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. So I guess depression or the postnatal depression, it's a hormonal condition. And it's the reason why it's so common is because women undertake such a drastic hormonal shift when we have children. It is so, I mean, you've heard of the baby blues. Day 5 is like classic day where you just, I remember my day 5. I just could not stop crying, like just all day. That was with my first baby. I definitely had the baby blues. And then after like a week or so, things started to even out and it started to get okay.
Yeah.
With my daughter, when I was originally diagnosed with postnatal depression, I mean, my case was, I guess, a little bit different to the classic postnatal depression, but I suppose like the classic symptoms would be, low mood, a lot of anxiety, no motivation to, or feeling like an inability almost to be able to look after your child or do kind of like basic tasks. Those kinds of things would kind of quantify as, and like over a long period of time as well, that would quantify as postnatal depression, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, because you're right. We do hear the word. It's a great thing that we hear the word more because we're more open about it.
Yeah.
But we do hear the term postnatal depression chatted about in media, talked about in women's health world. But I think it's important for people to know that it is that drastic change in hormones your body's been through. God knows what, and it's when that kind of rebalancing doesn't quite happen or things can go a little bit awry, can't they?
Yeah.
When your body's been through such a massive change.
It's that, and it can be triggered from pregnancy as well. Like if you've had a difficult pregnancy or you've had a difficult birth, that can trigger it as well because it's almost like your body just trying to process like what the hell has just gone on, like what's just happened. And sometimes that process just takes a little bit longer and our brains take a little bit of time to catch up.
Yeah, and we're not very good at giving ourselves time always. I mean, there's so much coming out now around maternity and the kind of panoramas and looking into maternity units. There's a lot of, sadly, really devastating kind of statistics and things around maternity. And I suppose I haven't been through it, so it's just looking from the outside that mums aren't always given a huge amount of time to adapt to anything,
Yeah. And
any
it's
any part of it.
Yeah, and it's almost like we don't allow ourselves to really take the rest that is needed to recover
Mm,
after we've had a baby. And I think in my case, that was definitely a factor that kind of
yeah.
caused my postnatal depression, later psychosis. Yeah.
So walk us through the pregnancy kind of from the beginning.
Mm.
Was the pregnancy as you expected, normal quotation marks, or what happened?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, my pregnancy was normal, like,
Okay.
low risk, no issues whatsoever. The only thing that I remember was playing in the back of my mind an awful lot is because my firstborn was in the ICU for a little bit. He was poorly
Okay.
when he was first born.
Yeah.
And I always, I need to stop myself from saying this, but I always say, oh, he was only there a week. And like almost as though I don't get to feel
Yeah.
trauma about that. But it was a really difficult time. But I always feel like I need to say that because I know a lot of parents are in there for a lot longer. But
Yeah, I can understand you're wanting to have perspective of like, oh, like, there's lots of different journeys and lengths and they awful things that can happen. But again, downplaying your experience doesn't make it any better for anybody else, does it?
yeah,
It's still
that week was hard.
traumatic for
Yeah,
you.
it really, really was. So that was my experience with my firstborn. We were in the NICU. He was, in an incubator. He was really poorly on antibiotics for a week. And it was just the whole situation was very, very traumatic. So I think that was like playing in the back of my mind throughout the entire pregnancy that like,
Okay.
is it going to happen again? There was some talks of like maybe I had GBS, which I
What's that?
couldn't even tell you what it stands for.
Okay.
It's some sort of infection that you carry and then you pass on to your baby in birth.
Oh, wow.
So there was some talks of like, oh, did you have GBS? And maybe that was the reason why you got
Okay.
sick and that kind of thing. So I had all the GBS tests done for my second.
Hmm.
Um, and that all came back clear, thankfully. And yeah, the second time, obviously, we were fine. We didn't end up in the hospital the second time, so that was good.
No. Good. Okay. So a happy pregnancy, as much as it can be with a little bit of obviously understanding of experience from before.
Yeah.
The birth itself, how was that? How did that go?
Oh, it was so fun. Well, we had
Okay.
home birth.
Beautiful.
So we had home birth with both of our children. Um, Rivers was a little bit. She's a stubborn little one. So yeah,
Okay.
sh- she like didn't want to come and then came all at once. So it was
Right.
less. Whereas my son was like this gorgeous, gradual, like textbook birth, like just
Okay.
glorious. River was a little bit more up and down, which figures.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, but apart from that, like really straightforward. We gave birth at home. It was beautiful.
Oh,
I had my tea and toast on the sofa. We were all cozied up on the sofa afterwards, like just laid down in bed. Like it was, yeah, it was just lovely. Her birth was
mm.
completely straightforward. And I think that's what maybe shocked some people about how it then went down because
Yes.
my pregnancy was straightforward relatively. My birth
Mhm.
was straightforward relatively. I wasn't really carrying forward um apart from what happened with my first, I wasn't
Yeah.
really carrying forward like any kind of massive trauma or anything like that. And it really did kind of come out of the blue.
Yeah. Why, out of interest, why was it you wanted to do a home birth? Why was that important to you?
Oh, so I did hypnobirthing throughout
Okay.
both of my pregnancies. That is another podcast in itself.
Quickly, what is
Oh
hypnobirthing for
God,
those that
I
don't
love,
know?
I would ramble about this all day. I love hypnobirthing so much. Um, so it's basically the art of understanding your body when
Okay.
you're pregnant and understanding your body during birth and
Okay.
understanding birth as like a completely natural process that your body knows how to do. And it's
Okay.
building that trust between you and your body and your baby and just learning like techniques like breathing techniques and things like
Mhm.
that so that you can give yourself the best possible chance of a really beautiful, peaceful birth. Like that's what it
Wow.
is. So I did it with my
Okay.
first. And then I did it again with my second, and both times were just, yeah, amazing.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you. So
No, it's
hypnobirthing
fine. I
as
love
part of the
hypnobirthing.
home birth.
Yes. So yeah, I did hypnobirthing, and then through my research, it was kind of a lot of hypnobirthing books will say you'll get so far in labor at home, and then sometimes when you go to the hospital, because your body then associates hospital with like, oh, it's really like it's an emergency,
Yeah.
it's a clinical
Bad
environment.
things are happening.
Yeah, bad things are happening. Like your body kind of goes on alert
Mm.
then, and that can kind of slow labor down. It can even stop labor. And I just didn't want to risk that.
Mm.
And my midwife was very good at kind of really selling the home birth. I'm really lucky to
Okay.
come from an area that has an amazing home birth team.
Mhm.
And our decision was basically down to like, she explained it in the way that if you're at home, you have 2 midwives that are just for you. But if you're in the
Wow.
hospital, you have, maybe 5, 6 midwives between however many women are birthing at that time.
Yes.
And for me, it just felt safer. I was like, well, that's great. I've got 2 women there who are just monitoring me, and they monitor you so closely.
Mm.
At the first sign of anything going slightly wrong, they'll blue light you in.
Yeah.
Like it's, yeah, I had a really good experience with it.
Oh, amazing. And it's your what comes across is your home, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
of course you feel safe and your
Mm.
body probably as much I was gonna say the word relaxation, as much as you can when you're
Yeah.
pushing out a baby.
I
But
had like the fairy lights, I had aromatherapy, I had Christmas movies playing in the background. It was September. That's glorious.
I was about to say, is she a Christmas baby?
No, no. It was, yeah,
Love
August,
that.
September. I just really love Christmas.
Why not? Especially when you're doing that, like
Yeah.
give the woman what she wants, doesn't matter.
All the comfort movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just screams safe, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
just like comforting and to do something that your body, like you say, does know how to do.
Mm.
But of course, it does have risks, and of course, there's going to be nervousness. And obviously,
Yeah.
she was your second, but for
Mhm.
anyone that's doing it first, whatever, it makes a lot of sense when you kind of explain why people would choose to do that.
Yeah, I can understand why people choose not to, because it
Mhm.
was my husband, I had to talk him around quite a lot.
Was
In
he
fact,
nervous?
my midwife really had to talk him around and was just like, this is safe. Like,
Wow.
trust me. And so we just dove in and thought, do you know what? Let's give it a go. If something goes
Mhm.
wrong, we can just go to hospital anyway. It's not too much of a risk. I was a low risk pregnancy anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah, thankfully it worked out for us, and they both turned out to be really beautiful births.
Oh, amazing. Did he talk to you, obviously, during the actual day, quite busy, a lot going on, probably didn't have
Mhm.
that conversation, but did you know or did he talk about where his nervousness was coming from? Was it just like a protection nervousness of what if this goes wrong?
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of like, oh, if something does happen,
Mm.
we've got to get to hospital.
Yeah.
It's that kind of, and we, at the time we lived maybe 20, 30 minutes away from the hospital. Obviously, when you're being blue lit in an ambulance, it's significantly quicker. But
Yes.
um, yeah, it was that kind of like, oh, what if something does go
Mm.
wrong? But by that point, I had, hypnobirthed my brain so much that I was
Mhm.
just like, it's going to be fine. My body knows completely what to do. It's fine.
I can
So,
do this.
yeah, 100%. I was totally confident. I had
Yeah.
no fear around it at all by that point.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Okay, so you've had beautiful birth. It's all gone how you wanted to.
Mhm.
Fantastic. And then you mentioned at the start about day 5 blues, as they call them. So first few days, week, how are we looking? What's your experience?
With baby 1 or baby 2?
Baby 2.
Okay, baby 2. Now, okay, so this was a very different experience with River.
Uh-huh.
This is maybe something that you haven't spoken about on your podcast before, but I actually encapsulated my placenta with River.
Okay, you're gonna have to walk me through that one because I can't say I even know what first question to ask. Walk me through
Okay,
what that is.
I did a little bit of research, and because of how my baby blues were quite significant with Lawson, they did even out eventually, but
Okay.
I felt down for a long time. I felt almost like I'd lost myself, like almost like a lot of mums feel when they have their
Yeah.
first babies. And so I just wanted to do anything that I could to prevent that.
Okay.
Did a lot of research into remedies that could help postnatally,
Mm-hmm.
and placenta encapsulation came up. So it's basically where, and my poor husband, bless him, had to, after I'd given birth to River and like birth the placenta and all
Yeah.
of that, bless his heart, he had to get my placenta and put it in a box. Like, oh my God, he's going to be mortified that I'm telling this story. He was like, this is the grossest thing I've ever done in my life. That's true love when your like husband is like
Oh, that is.
carrying your organs.
Oh my God, who needs a wedding ring? Like that's commitment right there.
Honestly.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah, and then you basically send this lady comes and collects the box. Um does something to the placenta, like, I don't know, cuts it up, cooks it, whatever, puts it in little capsules, and then gives it back to you, like, a day or 2 later.
Like a supplement?
Yeah, basically. So I was just kind of taking little placenta pills,
Wow.
through, I think it was for the first 6 weeks with River, and I can't tell you how much, I felt energized. I felt really happy. I felt so, just in this gorgeous, like, little bubble. Like, I don't know whether it could have been a placebo or,
Mhm.
whatever, but I just felt, yeah, I felt really, really good for those first 6 weeks.
Wow, that's amazing. So do you know, like, when you were reading about it, is there a reason why they obviously then take the placenta and then put that in like a supplement form? Has it got like goodness in it and
Yeah,
things
so
like
there's a
that?
lot of benefits. I think it has a lot of like vitamins and like things
Okay.
that help for your recovery. But I also think it's like the hormonal piece. So that when your hormones do drop drastically around like day 5,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of minimizes that a little bit because technically you're still taking the hormones that you would have
Oh,
been when you were in your body when you were pregnant.
yeah.
I've probably butchered that, and there's probably a scientist listening that's like, "That's actually not remotely accurate." That's
No,
how I kind of saw it.
it's like how for like a layman's view of like trying to figure out that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That is so interesting.
Yeah. So it
Wow.
made me feel really good for 6 weeks. It was, yeah, it got me through that first period, yeah.
Okay. Was there a big difference when that 6 weeks stopped?
Yes.
Right.
That's when things started to go downhill.
Okay.
And that's why I guess I don't necessarily, I mean, I never recommend like supplements or anything like that anyway, but I would, I don't really ever recommend placenta encapsulation just because of my experience. Like it made me
Yeah.
feel incredible for the first 6 weeks. So there obviously is something to it.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I stopped taking them, it was like everything caught up with me all at once and things
Okay.
started to go downhill, yeah, pretty quickly.
What does that look like for you in terms of downhill?
So, my energy levels were kind of on the floor. My mood was completely just flat, low, flat.
Okay.
And it was, I think, because it was such a like one day I was taking them and the next day I wasn't,
Mhm.
it was such a drastic, like, whoa.
Mm.
Um, and then I think the more I kind of just continue to like push through and be busy and do everything the perfect way, like I thought I should with, 2
Okay.
under 2 at this point.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a lot.
it was a lot. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend that either, if I'm honest. Um, yeah, I was kind of, just carrying on, rushing around, trying to do everything perfectly. And then very shortly after that, like a month later, I hit breaking point.
Wow, okay, so that first you've stopped the tablets, but and then before we get to that breaking point, in
Mm,
those few weeks, from what you say, I'm going to assume, I might be wrong, you talked about trying to do things perfectly
yeah.
and keep going.
Yeah.
Are we talking like timetable, organization of the day, we're structuring everything and
We are
that
talking
kind of
Pinterest mom.
Oh,
Yeah, I had a
okay.
theme for each week that I had planned 6 months in advance, by the way. Like, while I was pregnant, I was like, "Right, I'm just gonna control everything about having 2 under 2, and it's gonna work out perfectly." And I was
Okay.
obsessed with getting a double nap, where they both nap at the same time. I was
Okay.
obsessed, and I would make myself, like, ill with stress trying to get these 2 children to nap at the same time so that I could just have
Yeah.
10 minutes of, like, breathing space.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just trying too hard and not going with the flow enough.
Mhm. And when you were in it trying to do that plan that you'd made months prior,
Mm.
were you aware that it wasn't working, or was anybody else coming in and saying like, Hayley, I'm not sure this is maybe working out," or was it just kind of you were in the zone and you were just going?
I was in it and I was going. I had
Okay.
no self-awareness. Like, literally none. I was too stressed,
Yeah.
I think, to even contemplate that this wasn't working. I
Mm.
had no time for that kind of self-reflection.
No, you were in the trenches,
Yeah.
just trying to get through it every
Yeah.
single day.
I was just trying to survive, honestly.
And your husband, like, was there any conversation? Or was there
I
anything
think he knew
there?
that I was finding it hard. Um He would come home from work some days and I would be like, I'm going. Like,
Okay.
I'm going on a walk or I'm going on a drive or something, like, you need to take over this right now. Like,
Mm.
it's yeah, he knew I was finding it hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must be so hard from his point of view as well, because you want to step in and help, but
Mm,
then how do you help? And like you say, that was, and again, that's still very early on, isn't it? Because this is before breaking point, because
mm,
you've talked about breaking point is coming up.
yeah.
So what is breaking point? What does that look like?
Oh, for me, I think my case was quite extreme.
Okay.
So for some women, I know that postnatal depression is like a gradual thing and it comes on very gradually. Like it starts maybe at the baby blues
Mm-hmm.
and then it just doesn't go away and it kind of, deepens and deepens.
Yeah.
For me, I woke up one morning and felt like someone had replaced my brain with somebody else's. Literally, it happened like that. It was
Wow.
crazy. I remember the night before it happened, actually, I started to feel a little bit weird in my body. I
Okay.
started to feel a little bit like shaky. And the only way I could explain it was like that I felt tingly, but on the inside.
Ooh.
And I felt a little bit sick and I'd lost my appetite a little bit. And I remember calling my mum that evening and just being like, I feel really weird. Like I feel really scared and I don't know why. Um, and, she tried to, console me and was just like, just try and get a good night's sleep and, you'll feel better in the morning.
Yeah.
And then in the morning, I woke up and it's almost like I couldn't even get out of bed because I was just pinned to the spot with like fear. I was like, I cannot physically get out of bed and do this. I cannot look after my children today. Like I can't do it.
Oh my God.
And that fear, yeah, it wasn't something that was there before.
Wow.
Mm,
And like you say, that literally is
yeah,
that.
overnight.
Oh my God. And you talked about your brain being switched out for somebody else's.
Yeah, that's how it felt.
So was that self-talk different? Like, was there a different conversation going on?
Yes. So
Okay.
yeah, definitely like there was just a lot of
Mhm.
panic going on in my head that wasn't there previously.
Yeah.
There were warning signs,
Okay.
but I didn't listen, obviously.
No. How hard though? I mean, like how could anyone or lots of women in that situation listen to those warning signs when you say you're so in it?
Mm,
You're just trying to cope with being in it.
yeah, and I didn't really know. I'd heard a lot of people talk about anxiety and mental health, but I'd never experienced anything like that. So I never knew
Mhm.
that it got this bad.
Yeah.
Like, I had never experienced anything like this before, and yeah, it was just the fear, the panic, something that just had never been there before in my brain, so it felt completely alien to me.
Yeah. And when you say you could not get out of bed,
Mm,
that's just it's such a visual image of you just being there, being like, "Oh my God, like I've got to start a day. I've got to look after the kid."
yeah,
I
can't.
like what happened? Like, did you get out of bed? Did you
I think
someone have to come
on
and get you
Yeah,
or
I think on that day, I think it was a Monday, and I actually asked my husband to stay home from work. He stayed from home from work a lot during those first few weeks
okay.
to support me because I wasn't able to do anything without either vomiting, like throwing up, or just having a complete meltdown and like anxiety attack.
Oh my
It
word.
was, yeah, it was a very physical illness for me.
Yeah, I think we think about postnatal
Mm,
depression or psychosis and we automatically go, well, that's a mental health thing, that's a psychological thing.
mm.
But no, it was everything for you, am I right in
There,
saying?
yeah, like obviously it starts mentally, but the mind and body are so connected.
Oh,
And my
yeah.
body is, very connected to my mind, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I would be throwing up most days just at the thought. I would think about changing a nappy and I'd be like, nope, like, gotta go. Um,
Wow.
so I lost a lot of weight very, very quickly in like the space of 2, 3 months. I lost probably about 2 stone because I had just no appetite. Like I couldn't eat. I was throwing up most days.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's very physical.
Yeah, definitely. And
Mhm.
it just takes it out of you from every possible angle,
Yeah,
psychologically, mentally, emotionally, physically. It's just like take, 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 take. So God knows what you have left.
yeah. And I wasn't sleeping. I was too anxious to sleep. Obviously,
Okay.
baby who's up, every 3, 4 hours.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was rough.
So at what point did external obviously you talked about warning signs for like for you before you got to that point. Was there internal warning signs for you when you were in the midst of this? Or was it external like people or family or individuals that were start that then kind of went to, oh, I think something's really going on here?
I think because it happened so drastically and quickly, I was very aware of like something's not right.
Okay.
So I remember in that first week, I rang my health visitor, and just said,
Okay.
I'm not right. Like, I don't know what's happened, but I'm not okay.
Okay.
Um, and then she came and kind of like spoke to me and did like an assessment and,
Mhm.
all of the above. Um, so yeah, I think it was like, I was still self-aware.
Yeah.
There was like the kind of anxious side of me that was like, having panic attacks and not able to do anything. And then there was like the small voice that was getting very, very, very small and very weak that was like, whoa, like, we're not right. Like, something needs to happen.
Okay. You said that voice was getting smaller?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
As in, was that after the breaking point, that voice got smaller and smaller and
Yes.
smaller?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that took a lot then for you to make that phone call to say, "I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Something's happened."
Yeah. It did. Because I think I was in denial for the longest time. I think I was told by 3 or 4 professionals that I had postnatal depression. And I was like, nah, it's my hormones. I knew it. Like, I was just like, nah, it's not depressed. I'm not depressed. I'm anxious. I'm not depressed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
and then my health visitor, sorry, said, it all comes under that umbrella. I was like, what umbrella are you talking about here? Like, what? Yeah, so I was in denial for a very long time about the fact that I had postnatal depression because I didn't
Okay.
necessarily feel depressed. I felt wired and like anxious, panicky.
Yeah. So almost like it was like being high strung sounds wrong, but being like hyper
Yeah.
everything.
Yes.
Everything's on red alert,
Yeah. All the time.
which for you didn't associate with the word depression.
Yes. So I wouldn't accept it. I was like, no, it's my hormones. It's
Oh,
not, I'm not
okay.
depressed.
And how long did that go on for? You kind of suffering with this high level anxiety, but then still almost being like, no, 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 like just hormones, like keep going.
Yeah. It was a good few months. It was, yeah, probably 3. So the morning that I woke up and everything changed was in the January. And I say that was my breaking point. That wasn't even like the lowest point. The lowest point was probably in May.
Okay.
So I pushed through for 5 months.
5 months of
Mm,
that.
yeah.
Oh God, Haley, I can't even imagine of being sick, panic attacks, feeling like you can't do any of the tasks, the
Yeah.
constant fear, the constant panic and anxiety, not sleeping.
Mm,
5 months of that.
yeah. Just pushing through, thinking I'm gonna deal with this by myself. I don't need medication, don't need help. I
Wow.
can push through.
We're taking a quick break to say thank you to today's sponsor, BU Period. When it comes to women's health, I'm obsessed with all things holistic and natural. My go-to product is BU's pain relief patches. The combination of menthol and eucalyptus is pure bliss when an endo flare hits. Whether it's pelvic pain, back pain, leg pain, or anything else, they give me the instant and long-lasting relief I need. And you can even set up your own subscription so that you never run out of natural pain relief. If you want to get your hands on BU's patches, you can find the link in the show notes. And make sure you use the code INJAP10 to get your exclusive listener discount. Now let's get back to the girl chat.
I mean, it might be a strange question to answer, but because I imagine maybe now that feels close but far.
Yes.
Now that you're recovered.
Yeah.
But can you almost go back to those 5 months and almost like come out of your body and like evaluate it and look down on yourself and be like, wow, okay, like how did we do that? Or can you almost still connect to
Yeah.
that part? Or
I
does
can
it feel so far away?
It does feel very far away now, but yeah, I can definitely still, because if I'm completely honest, I was 29 at this point. I'd lived 29 years of my life pushing
Mhm.
through and not resting and
Oh, okay.
just not being connected to my body and just going, 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 working, 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 like trying to do everything perfect. I'd lived 29 years of my life like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I can still connect to that part of me. She's not me anymore.
No.
I can still remember her.
Yeah.
She was crazy.
Oh. So you can recognize now this is like this is a personality. This wasn't just for motherhood.
Yeah.
This was a part of you that had maybe come out in different ways in different areas of your life. But obviously sounds like being a mum and having a newborn touched something or was a
It
catalyst.
heightened everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It made me control and push and manage everything 10 times more than I would have done before children.
Yeah. So what happened in May then?
So man, pushing through when you have postnatal depression, wouldn't recommend it. Because my symptoms started to change just a little bit. So
Okay.
I was now depressed because I was anxious, and I was convinced that I was like, I'm only depressed because I'm anxious. Like
Right.
that's the only thing that's like making me depressed right now. My whole life
Okay.
is great, but I'm depressed because I'm anxious. So I definitely had depression. I'd accepted, okay, got postnatal depression, fine. I was getting some help from the perinatal mental health team,
Okay.
who also diagnosed me with postnatal depression. Shocker.
Mhm.
And things just started to get a little bit darker in my head, where
Okay.
so you remember when I said when I woke up that morning and I felt like my brain had been swapped with someone else?
Mhm.
So I started to almost like convince myself of this story line in my head, or it wasn't me convincing it, it was like my illness.
Yeah.
I was, yeah, being convinced of this story that actually someone had taken over my brain, and it was trying to make me so mentally ill that I would commit suicide so that they could take my children away from me.
Oh my word.
And that was the narrative that I started to believe was true. Yeah, from about May onwards. So at this point, I spoke about those voices, and
Yeah.
one being the panic side being very loud, and my voice, my rational thinking, my self-compassion, my
Mhm.
talking voice, normal like thoughts,
Yeah.
that had by this point completely diminished. Like I couldn't find it. And what had taken over was this really dark side of me that was telling me to do things and was giving me, I never kind of saw anything with my eyes open, but I would have
Okay.
these really intense visions in my brain of, God, this is super dark now. I hope this is okay to talk about, but like of ways that I could commit suicide.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
so that this person in my brain could be present with my family and take over and be with my children, like take my children.
Oh, Hayley.
Mm.
Oh, I'm just pausing because it's just terrifying,
Yeah.
scary, horrific to hear, let alone be experiencing.
Yeah.
And this voice sounds very like powerful, very authoritarian,
Very loud.
very commanding
Yeah.
in the way that you explained that it kind of drowned out any other voice or conversations that were going on for you.
Yeah. Nothing else was there. It was just that voice at this point. And the way that she would speak to me as well, she would, call me, you're a worthless piece of shit and, things like that. But it wouldn't be like just saying it in a normal voice. It would be screaming in my ear. And I'd have visions of me. I don't think I've ever spoken about this anywhere, actually. I remember it like it was yesterday because I was on the way to teach a dance class. That was my job at the time.
Yeah.
Just casually doing that while I was severely mentally ill.
Add that to the list.
Love
Yes.
Yeah, I was on the way to teach a class, and I remember I was driving in my car and I had this vision pop up into my head of me almost like tied to a chair. And then she was kind of circling me and just screaming at me, "You're a worthless piece of shit. You're this, you're that." And obviously it gave me a panic attack in the car because I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how
Oh my
to get rid of
God.
this.
Could you see her? Did she have a visual image?
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Wow. So it was a whole character.
Yeah.
It was a whole person
Yeah.
that had a voice and a face and everything.
Eventually a name. I named her
Okay.
eventually. My
Okay.
therapist told me to.
In the recovery stage,
Yeah.
she got a name.
Yeah.
Okay. So was this every day? She
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
constant?
Yeah. It was, worse and worse and worse every single day. To the
Wow.
point where I didn't feel safe being on my own because I never acted on anything
Yeah.
that she was telling me to do, but I was so close in my mind to being like, this is the only way I'm going to get her to stop.
Mm.
I was, yeah, I was close.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, that just there's not a word for it. I'm almost hesitating to use the same words because it feels like they're not powerful enough to
Yeah.
describe what you're describing and what you
Mm.
experienced. How long was she there having these conversations, almost torturing you in a way,
Yeah.
before other people knew that she existed or that this was happening?
I mean, at that point, thankfully, I was getting support already from the perinatal mental
Mhm.
health team. So, and at this point, actually, I was getting support from 3 different people. I had like my overall caseworker who would visit
Mhm.
me, I think, once a month. I would have my regular caseworker who would come and spend an hour and a half with me every single week so I could just talk.
Mhm.
She was amazing. And she did a little bit of like CBT with me and things like that.
Yeah.
And then I had my nursery nurse who would help me with the bond with River,
Okay.
because that just wasn't functioning, obviously, because I was just in such a you can't
Yeah.
bond in this state.
No.
So yeah, I was having support, so I let them know about what was happening, but I didn't let them know necessarily to the extent of how bad it was because I was terrified that they were going to slip outside and make a phone call and be like, yeah, she needs to go in. Like, I thought they were going to section me.
You really thought that was going to happen?
Yeah. I still think to this day I was probably, a week or 2 away from getting sectioned probably because I mean, my caseworker did say, if you were seeing things in the corner of the room, then I'd worry because I was constantly like, are you gonna send me away? Are you gonna send me away?
Oh.
And I wasn't seeing things physically, but in my head I was, and in my head I wasn't. I'd lost I don't know who I was.
Yeah.
She made me write a list at one point of, I actually found it the other day. We're going through like our memory boxes. So I kept it.
Mhm.
She made me write a list of everything that I knew about myself because I was like, I just don't remember who I am. Like, this house
Wow.
doesn't feel like mine. My husband doesn't feel like mine. My children don't feel like mine. Like, I just feel completely disassociated from everything and everyone.
Oh my
Mm.
goodness. The voice, the character, what was her name that you gave her?
Betsy.
Betsy.
Yeah, she's a
Okay.
sweetheart, honestly. She meant well.
So was Betsy having conversations with you about your first being sectioned as well? Did she get involved in that?
Um, Not so much. I think
Okay.
she's more kind of sidetracked with, just calling me worthless
Yeah.
and, you know,
The abuse.
yeah, the abusive side of it. I think the fear part of like fearing being sectioned, that was me. Mm,
Mhm.
the tiny part.
You were still you were still there.
Yeah.
The reality is that you were always there, but
Yeah.
just buried.
Just fear.
Yeah. It sounds suffocating when you describe it.
Mm.
You talked about before, obviously before the second breaking point, if we call it that, when you woke up and the anxiety, that also sounds suffocating in the sense of like you can't catch your breath, you can't breathe, you can't do any kind of like normal breathing relaxation stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so hard to imagine. And I know that I can't. I know that unless you experience something like this, you cannot even get close to imagining what it must be like.
I didn't even know that this existed.
No,
I didn't even know that this was a thing,
no.
that your brain could do that.
Yeah. Obviously, for a long time when we talked about people were there to support you and intervention was available. Understandably, you weren't at a point where you didn't want to go on medication, you didn't want to go down that road. That was not something that you were ready to do.
Yeah.
When Betsy was there and you were in the very much depths of this, did intervention change? Did something happen there?
Yes.
Okay.
I basically had like almost like a panic attack, out of body experience, psychotic episode, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Where I was in the bathroom one morning and I remember it so clearly, and I just completely came out of my body. And I remember calling my mum and just being like, I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am. this house isn't mine. Like, I need you to come over. I need you to look at these children downstairs, and I need you to tell me that they are mine, because I don't know where I am. Like, I
Oh my God.
don't feel like I am me, or I'm not in my body. These children are not mine. Like, I don't feel like my kids are mine. Can you just come over and tell me that they are, please? Because something's like, I'm not okay.
Wow.
That
Did-
was the scariest point.
That must have been awful.
Yeah. I just didn't feel, I didn't recognize my life.
No.
And I felt like the only way I can describe it is like physically, I felt like I was living life watching my body from behind.
Okay.
So like, I just was not in my body
Yeah.
at all. And I was just kind of a little bit further back.
Mm.
And I lived,
watching things happen.
yes, watching things happen, but not being in it.
Yes.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
No,
I think
that's
it's
a really good
I think it's called
description.
dissociation. Disassociation.
Yes.
Yeah,
That word sounds right.
something like that.
So, am I right in thinking your mum, before that phone call when you're in the bathroom, did she know what was going on?
Yeah.
She was aware?
Yeah, she was aware. She was, really supportive. Did everything she could to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole village that it took
Yes.
to kind of get me through.
Understandably.
Mm.
But I'm just, I can only imagine receiving that phone call as a mother and her coming round, and that moment being the moment where, was that then a conversation then after that moment of like, okay, we do need active intervention now. We need something to happen. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was more like a decision on my end.
Okay.
Because I think since, as a kind of, after that event,
Mm.
the thoughts of like suicide and things like that really ramped up. Not that I was thinking about it, but that I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, but it wasn't me. I don't know how
Yes.
to explain that.
No, that makes sense.
It wasn't, I didn't want to commit suicide, but the
Mhm.
thoughts of, Betsy was placing in my head
Mhm.
of, oh, you could do it this way, you could do it this way, and da 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 da. I couldn't stop those thoughts. And I just
Yeah.
thought, I'm not going to be able to fight this by myself. And I don't want to die. I don't want to commit suicide. I don't want to leave my family.
Mhm.
I need to do something. So yeah, I made that decision I rang the perinatal mental health team, my caseworker, and I was like, I think I need to go on medication, because this is a losing battle for me, and I don't want to lose it.
Mhm.
I want to win it.
Yeah.
And so they were amazing. They sorted my prescription out for me. I didn't have to go to a doctor separately. Like, they did it all
Okay.
for me. They brought my tablets over, and they sat with me while I took my first one, and subsequently cried my eyes out. And yeah, they were really supportive through the whole thing, because that first 2 weeks when you're on an antidepressant is rocky.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like it was then a quick fix. Even when you made that huge, incredibly brave, difficult decision to, even in the depths of what you were in, to reach out and say, no, I do want to do something about this. I want to win this fight. It still then didn't get better for 2 weeks of taking the medication.
Oh, not even then. It was months and months.
Wow.
So they put me on fluoxetine, which is a common SSRI that you would be put on if your depression, I was told, is kind of hormone related.
Yeah.
So a lot of women with postnatal depression, for example, might be prescribed fluoxetine. So I was on 20 milligrams to begin with, which is like the starting dose, just one tablet. And things got a lot worse during those 2 weeks. It was awful. But then they started to lift and get a little bit better. And I kind of almost like flatlined to the point where I was still crying all the time. And I was still, my mental health team was still coming to visit my house, and I was still crying on them all the time, and just not coping. And I remember one session, they were just like, do you know what? Like, you've been on this for, 2-3 months now, and it's not making you any better yet. Is it worth trying to up your dose? And so we decided to up my dose. I was taking 40 milligrams then, just 2 tablets a day. And it skyrocketed my recovery. Like,
wow.
within months, I'd felt like myself again. I went back to work. But I was left with like PTSD because of what happened.
I mean, how could you not be?
In terms of like my symptoms and my psychosis and everything like that. that lifted within a month or two.
Wow.
Mm,
Oh my word.
yeah.
I mean, you mentioned obviously before about the fact that for your own personal reasons, and a lot of women will relate to that, you didn't want to take medication. You didn't want to go down that route.
Yeah.
That wasn't for you. So sitting there with your support team, taking that first tablet and all the weeks that followed, what did that do to you as Hayley, as an individual? Because that can't have been easy.
It wasn't easy, and I think there was a tiny part of me that felt like, oh, I failed. Like I haven't been strong enough to fight this myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the way that I would describe it is that I think Betsy's voice started to get smaller,
Okay.
and my voice started to get stronger again.
Mm.
And with all the tools they were teaching me, like all the CBT and things like that, I was able to question. I was like strong enough then to question what Betsy was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of got myself back up that way.
Yeah.
And so I think I was just really grateful, I think, just not to be in it anymore.
Yeah.
Betsy did say that she'd be there when I came off fluoxetine. So that wasn't nice.
Okay.
But I'm off fluoxetine. I only came off recently, actually. I've been weaning down for years.
Wow.
And I see her in a completely different way now.
What way?
She was a part of my brain that was trying to do everything it possibly could to keep me out of a situation that she thought wasn't safe.
Okay.
She just had a bit of a skew-with way of doing it.
Mm. So she was trying to protect you?
Yeah. But in the only way she knew how, because she was scared.
Yeah.
And so I see her in a different way now, and she might crop up from time to time, but
Mhm.
I'm so much stronger now and able to just be like, come on, we don't need to go there. Let's pipe down.
Wow. Oh, that feels, I don't know, just hearing that makes me really emotional hearing that, because I just can't even begin to imagine the strength and the courage and all the things that it takes for you to have been on the very, very edge with Betsy and have her be controlling and in lots of ways destroying and abusing everything about your life and you, and to come full circle to where you are now with a level of understanding and empathy and compassion. That's quite incredible.
It's taken a lot. It's taken a lot to
Yeah.
get here. I've done a lot of work,
Yeah.
physically, mentally, emotionally, everything.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned PTSD, so
Yeah.
I imagine even when the medication helped and, like you say, you went back to work and all of those symptoms passed
Yes.
and you got to a much better place, still a lot of work to do?
So much. That was almost just as hard, because I was constantly living in fear of it happening again.
Okay.
And every time I would remotely feel anxious, just the normal anxiety that
Yes.
everybody experiences, every time that would arise, I would then spiral and go, oh my God, it's happening again.
Mm.
And yeah, that was tough. And I think, honestly, the main thing that has kind of helped with that is just distance from it.
Okay.
And just being able to look back and be in such a different place now to be like, actually, do you know what? If that did happen again, if my brain broke again,
Mm-hmm.
I would deal with it differently, and I would know what to do.
Yeah.
I think it was just because it was my first time
Yes.
that I didn't know what to do and I didn't know how to handle it.
Who would?
Yeah.
I don't believe there's a person
no
on the
guidebook.
planet that would know what to do when that happens.
Yeah.
Because there's no level of equipment or tool or skill that for the first time anyone could be like, oh yeah, okay, don't panic.
Yeah.
It
was a lot. And I'm honestly, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I'm super proud of like how far I've come since then, because I'm just not the same person.
Please toot your own horn, because I think you have every single right to say that. I think you're incredible.
Thank you.
Absolutely incredible.
It's taken a lot, but I'm proud. I wouldn't be the person I am today without that experience.
Yeah.
I'd still be that 28-year-old who is pushing through everything, managing, controlling everything. And it still crops up. Of course, it's something I still struggle with. But I'm just a completely different person now.
Yeah. Has that experience then, you talked about obviously what you did before you became a mum and those personality traits and things like that. has it done a 360 effect on you as a person and your whole life? Not just you as a mother suffering with postnatal psychosis, but you as Hayley and everything about you. Has it changed?
It's changed everything.
Okay.
I'm not that same person anymore, like, at all. I still do struggle with, like, perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm stressed, my knee-jerk reaction is to try and control and manage and
Okay.
overdo everything. That's still my default setting when I'm stressed, when I'm in high stress. But I'm aware of it. I'm super aware of it now,
Yeah.
and I can catch it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And I have the tools now to kind of bring me down
Yeah.
so that I can rest more.
Do you feel like you understand yourself more?
Oh
You
my
know
God.
yourself better now?
Yeah, so much better. Not you, like, all the different parts of me, and like just so much more accepting of all the different parts of me, even the ones like Betsy,
Yes.
who, you know, pipe up every now and again. She's not as aggressive these days, but
Good.
yeah, good to know. But you know, even the parts of me that I would, you know, feel shame over, or, you know, aren't as confident or anything like that, like, I feel like I'm just so much more compassionate with those parts of me, because I know that it's just fear. Like, they're just scared in one way or another.
Yeah.
And it's my job. I can now mother those parts of me, you know?
Yeah. You can be a mother to lots of different people,
Yeah.
not just your two beautiful children.
Yeah, absolutely. It's reparenting yourself and like mothering yourself almost.
Yeah. If you had to describe how you feel about yourself now, how would you describe your feelings towards yourself?
I love who I'm becoming, honestly. And
Mhm.
oh my God, it makes me emotional because it's taken such a long way for me to get here and to be able to say that. But I genuinely am, like, I'm so proud of the girl who thought, fuck, I'm going to fight this. Like,
Mhm.
I'm going to win. Like, let's go.
Mhm.
And she's feisty. I like
Yeah.
that.
I think that's a brilliant quality.
Yeah, I really do like myself. I think I'm great.
Yeah, I would agree. I think hearing this story, I would 100% agree. How has it impacted you as a mum and your journey with motherhood? How do you feel about yourself as a mum?
Oh, it's changed everything. I think at the moment, I think motherhood is all about, it goes in seasons.
Mm.
And I think you have to adapt and change through each season. Like, we're currently in a brand new season where my children are 7 and 9 now.
Wow.
And like, you know, my son is approaching those teenage years. Like, God, you can tell.
Mhm.
My daughter is nowhere near the teenage years, but you can also really tell.
Mhm.
So many hormones. And I think, yeah, it's just learning to adapt and learning to reflect and look back at yourself and be like, actually, yeah, I am really adaptable. I really do have the ability to change and flow and be present with my own children's emotions and support them like I would want to be supported.
Yeah.
It's definitely made me, like, I think there's definitely an element of fear for their future and their mental health and things like that, because I wouldn't want them to go through anything like this.
Yeah, of course.
And so I am, I guess, a bit protective of them in that respect of, like, you know, how much they spend time on screens. And,
Yeah.
you know, there is like that practical element where there is still that fear there that I'm like, I don't want this to happen to anyone who is close to me. So I'm going to do this and this to make sure that I can protect that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I can't do everything, but I can, you know, do what I can.
Yeah.
So I think it's changed in that respect as well, in that, you know, that little niggling fear is still there.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't think you could hand on heart meet anyone though, man, woman, anyone who wouldn't say that they have fear about nothing. Like they have no fear, they're not scared of anything, because I think fear is part of being human, right? Fear keeps us alive.
Yeah.
Go very, 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 very basic
Yeah.
to evolutionary terms. Fear is literally what keeps us alive.
Yeah. It's a protective mechanism.
We wouldn't be human without
Yeah.
it. If you could speak to other women, whether it's women that are going through postnatal right now, those that maybe have had experience and maybe didn't get the support that you had, or maybe still feel like you talked about the traumatic or the ripple effects of what they've been through, if you could speak to women that have experience or will experience something like this, is there anything you'd say to them in particular?
I think I think the main thing that I would want to say is that, like, there really is no shame in asking for help and reaching out to whoever that might be, whether it's a professional, whether it's family, friends. I would not have got through that without a huge support system.
Mm.
And I think, yeah, I think that's the main thing. Like, just reach out, like, ask for help. Like, there is no shame in it. Even if you're not mentally ill, women need
Mm.
to be able to ask for help and not
Yeah.
be shamed for it. I mean, we're not like, it's internal, that shame.
Yes.
We feel a lot of shame over not being able to do it all, not being perfect, making mistakes, being messy, being chaotic. Like, that's human.
Yeah. We
Like,
compare ourselves a lot, don't we? You just spoken about social media with your children. We compare every part of our lives, every part of our bodies. We compare everything. And I don't know, but not as a mother, but in a different way. You know, if I think about it in a business sense, something can be going really well in the business, and I can feel really confident and really happy and really proud of our achievements. And all it takes is a quick look on social media to someone that you perceive as doing bigger and better and faster and whatever. And immediately that comparison can just take away
same.
all of that positive.
Yeah. I can relate to that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. More than you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard, but I think especially in the motherhood space, there is a lot of like Pinterest mom and perfectionism and like, look at my beautiful clean house. And God, our lives are the complete opposite. Like, I'm so chaotic as a person. Like, I just, but I think the older you get and the more comfortable you get with yourself, the more you can just learn to be like, you know what, this is who I am. Like, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Let's embrace it. Embrace the chaos.
Yeah. I love that. Embrace the chaos. That is definitely a good.
I used to have that on my wall for the longest time when my kids were little, actually.
Oh,
Embrace the
really?
chaos.
Love that. That is brilliant. You've been fantastic. You've been
you
so
much.
honest and so raw, which is just, I can't ask for anything more than that. I have final podcast edition for you. I would like you to imagine that I'm not sat here,
Okay.
but that the gorgeous, beautiful younger Hayley is here. So whether she is, we haven't talked about it, but whether she's a teenager, whether she's 20s, maybe it is around the time when she was pregnant or young motherhood, you can choose. But if she was sat right here and you could talk to her and see her, what would you say?
I think I would definitely start off by saying you are enough. You need to, like, you don't need to try so hard to be enough. You can just be, you could just be. And that's okay. You don't need to keep doing all the time. And that's, I think, for every age. Me, child, teen, pregnant, mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's at every stage. You don't need to keep doing. You can just, you don't need to keep trying. That's okay. You can let go. Safe.
That's amazing. Do you know what? I can actually, that really resonates in a very different way.
Yeah.
I can really take something from that. It can be really hard to just be.
Yeah.
It's so tempting to do all the time. So I love that. That is beautiful. Thank you. You've been amazing.
Thank you for having me on.
I loved our girl chat today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want more content about periods and women's health conditions, then make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening and watching. You can follow us on socials using @itsnotjustaperiod.uk. Head to the show notes for all the links and info about today's guest. I can't wait to see you next time. And remember, girls, it's not just a period.